Aloha. Got a couple of minutes? My Bible is actually open to 2 Samuel chapter 9. Hey, listen, tucked in this chapter is one of my favorite little stories. I know it's gonna be familiar to you as well. We're just gonna you'll know what it is very quickly. We're gonna pick it up right here in verse 7. Let me read this to you again. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 7. So David said to him, so he's talking to Mephibosheth, he says, "Do not fear, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan, your father's sake. And I will restore to you all the land of Saul, your grandfather, and you shall eat at the king's table continuously all the time." Oh, I love that. I mean, please, what a story. I mean, think about this just for a moment. Mephibosheth, he stands before the king expecting death, because that was the cultural thing to do back in those days. So he was expecting his life was going to get snuffed out just like that. But the first words, as he stands before the king, the first words he hears the king repeat out loud from David's mouth, the king, is 3 words: "Do not fear." Can you imagine Mephibosheth, when he hears those words, "Do not fear"? But you see, too often we race by this little verse and we miss that there's 10 words of grace right here in this little verse. I'm going to read you these words. Here they are, right here. "Do not fear, for I surely will show you kindness." Instead of death, Mephibosheth gets kindness. I tell you, isn't that amazing? Because you see, this reminds me of the story of Jesus. I mean, think about it for a moment. When you read the New Testament, when you read the Gospels accounts of the life and the times of Jesus, do you realize that there is one command that Jesus says more often than all the others, without exception? And do you know what it is? Jesus says over and over and over again, he says, "Do not fear." Or he'll say, "Fear not. Do not fear. Fear not." I mean, think about it. So often people come into the presence of Jesus and they're full of fear, they're full of anxiety, they're full of worry, they're full of what in the world? How in the world is he ever going to view me? Somebody like me? And like King David, he peers into the face and he says, "Do not be afraid." Do not be afraid, because today I am going to show you kindness. Oh, listen, my friends, that is grace. That is grace over and over and over again. Grace, you're expecting one thing, but you get something completely different. Grace. And here's the other part I like. So Mephibosheth now, I mean, he goes from fear, thinking his life is going to be snuffed out, to now he is continually eating every day at the king's table. Wow. Isn't that grace? But I tell you what, my friends, the day is coming soon once again, because of this amazing grace of Jesus, his grace. The day is coming where you and I too will be continually eating at the table of the King, King Jesus, for eternity. Oh, wow. I can hardly wait. How about you? Aloha.